Chris Moses here. This is Gospel Progressions University, and today I'm going to break down the 5 elements that instantly make your gospel playing sound more churchy and authentic. Let's jump in. Element number 1, gospel cliches. What are they? These are familiar runs, fills, and voicings. So for example, at the end, you heard I did a little fill there. And if you know anything about gospel music, you're going to hear this almost all the time, especially with traditional types of gospel. So why does this matter? You have instant recognition. All right. And this is almost brand identity for gospel music. You're not going to hear this in rock and roll, metal, death metal, country, not really. You can make these things fit, and the more talented musician can kind of squeeze it in. However, this is indicative of gospel music, and it reinforces the genre identity. This actually connects players and listeners emotionally, because anybody played this, you watch one of Jamie Foxx's special, or anybody that has some kind of churchy kind of background, this instantly makes people connect. It helps to connect people, and people emotionally are attached to something like this. So these types of things you want to learn and need to learn. Element number 2 is rhythm, time, and feel. So what is this? It's syncopation. We have a bounce in a particular subdivision. When I say subdivision, we're playing gospel music, so we're going to look at something that's in a 3/4 time. So it would be 1, 2, 3, and you hear 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you have this feel and this kind of bounce. This matters because it defines the groove and the character. This influences chord placements. Many chord placements are built and derived around that feel, especially with traditional gospel. And this actually separates what's played from what's actually felt when you're playing gospel music. If this is helping you and you're a beginner trying to sound more churchy, then check out my course, Black Gospel Keyboard for Beginners. It's over 6 hours of step-by-step content with assessments to track your progress. Plus, you'll join a growing community of musicians just like you. Start building the right foundation today. Element number 3, gospel scales. These key scales are going to be blues, the melodic minor, and the pentatonic. And when I say blues, I don't mean the genre, I mean the actual scales themselves. There are 2 scales. You have your major scale, major blues scale, and your minor blues scale. Again, the melodic minor and the pentatonic scales. And this is why they matter. These give the actual songs, what you're playing and your style of playing, that raw vocabulary for gospel licks and fills. This lick that I did here comes from the blues scale. The C major blues scale is going to be C, D, E flat, E, G, A, and C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a 6-tone scale. And this is something, again, you'll hear all over gospel music. It's the same kind of pattern. 1, 2, flat, 3, 3, 5, and 6. And then back, of course, to 1 again. When you hear the blues scale playing, it adds that emotional grit and that tension that is also familiar with gospel music. Now, along with that, we have other types of scales. Another type of scale is the melodic minor scale. Your melodic minor scale is going to be built off of usually, almost exclusively, the 4th higher. So for example, in the key of C, we go to F, 1, 2, 3, 4, we have F major. And then this is where we build the parent scale of the melodic minor scale versus the major scale, right? For C. Now we have the melodic minor scale in F. So now here's the switch. We're going to play F, G, A flat, B, C, D, E, F. It's just like F major, except for this one note. You flat the 3rd. We're not playing A anymore, we're playing A flat. However, just like any scale can be inverted, the melodic minor scale can be inverted as well. So instead of playing it, we can switch that. We can invert the scale and take the C and start from the C and do the same scale tones. And if you notice here, we have C major in it. So these can be borrowed harmonically. And this is how we build gospel chords off of the melodic minor scale. I can't talk enough about these because once you learn the scale, they're all over gospel. Gospel-like songs. Think of Trapped in a Closet. Think of I Believe I Can Fly, A Prayer of Jabez. The list goes on and on. So I would build a chord progression based off of the F melodic minor scale. I can play the scale from any position I like. It's just a scale. Something somebody sat around and they made up. So we can start from the 2, 3, and then play the 2 again. All this F, A flat rather, right? This F minor, A flat, comes from the scale I just showed you, the melodic minor. So and mixed with other scales, this is how we build gospel music. Each one has its own section. Something may be built just off the major scale. Something may be built off of the pentatonic scale, off of the blues scale. But this is how we shift and we move around these things in gospel music to add that feel, that gospel emotion. Element number 4, the chord movement. What we do whenever we play gospel, we're going to focus on the major chord and the minor 2. And we can just keep inverting that ad infinitum. This matters because it's going to be core to devotional and worship style playing. All right, so this is very expressive. When we use this, we can play it diatonically. That same chord progression, it's really D, E, F, G. But if we played it diatonically and we didn't follow this pattern, it would sound like this. It would sound like, well, like this: D minor, and then E minor, and then F major, and then G major, which would sound different than what I just played. It definitely doesn't have a gospel sound. It has more of a Christian contemporary sound. It can be used in gospel, but again, these things that I'm showing you, they're elemental to gospel music. So instead of doing that, we can switch that around. We don't even have to play this. We can play this. We can do the same kind of chord progression. See how that works? So what I played here was the D minor, C over E, and then we can just do, again, we can do the D minor over the F, and then go back to the C over G. That is critical to learn in gospel music. That major 1, minor 2, major 1, minor 2, so on. Element number 5, dominant chords. Now, what a dominant chord is just a 5 chord. We call it a dominant chord in music. It's the 5th chord in the scale. So for example, in the key of C major would be C, D, E, F, G, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the scale tone, if we were to build it on thirds, would be G, B, D, and F. And this gives us the dominant chord. We can extend that. Now I'll bring the octave down here, right? And then we can extend that to a F7, an F9, and F13. Oftentimes when we move to a 5 chord, it usually indicates that we're going to move to a 1 chord, or it's 1 chord. So if for example, the 5 chord is going to be dominant in whatever key, I don't know, the key of A. And then say, for example, we did this chord here, E7, we know we're going to go back to a major. And this is how we're able to switch and move around. But there's a particular pattern that we do, but it's beyond the scope of this video. Taking that further, when I did I could have done this here and just used the 5 chord, an altered 5 chord to get me back to the 1. If I really wanted to bring a lot of attention to that and emphasis on the 1 chord when I dropped the 1 on the downbeat. If you're just getting started and want to build these skills the right way, my course, Black Gospel Keyboard for Beginners 101, will walk you through it all step by step. Hit the link in the description and let's level up your sound. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video.
I know you're so tired of looking at YouTube videos. You've done it your way for so long. Don't you think it's time to try a way that works?
Why don't you sign up?
Why don't you sign up
to Black Gospel Keyboard 101?
You know you want to.
Why don't you sign up?
Why don't you sign up
to Black Gospel Keyboard 101?
You know you want to.
Stop messing around, it's time to grow. Learn the moves to learn how to flow. If you want that churchy feel,